Before you drift off to sleep tonight, I want to share something that could change the way you look at bedtime forever. We often think of stroke, or what doctors call a cerebrovascular accident, as something sudden, random, and unpreventable. But what if I told you it can actually be triggered by a few simple habits we do every night, without even realizing it? Yes, it's true. Many strokes don't come with loud warnings. They're silent, sneaky, and sometimes they're rooted in routines we've had for years. Maybe you fall asleep in front of the TV, sip a little too much water before bed, or think it's harmless to scroll on your phone under the covers. These things may seem small, but research shows they could slowly increase your risk of stroke and heart disease. In today's video, we're going to uncover 8 bedtime habits that quietly raise your risk of serious cardiovascular problems, and, more importantly, how to avoid them. Simple changes can make a huge difference. And trust me, your heart and your brain will thank you. So take a breath, settle in, and let's get started. Because the way you sleep might just be the key to staying alive.
Let's start with a habit that many people, especially older adults, believe is helpful, but in reality, it's quietly doing more harm than good: sleeping while sitting up. If you've ever struggled with acid reflux, you might have been told or assumed that sleeping upright helps ease the symptoms. I get it. It feels logical. Gravity should keep stomach acid down, right? But here's the truth. Sleeping in an upright position actually puts more pressure on your abdomen, which can make reflux worse, not better. And that's not all. When you sleep sitting up, blood has a harder time flowing back to your heart. Over time, this can lead to swelling in your legs, poor circulation, and even increased risk of stroke or heart problems. And the worst part? It also severely affects your sleep quality. Your body doesn't get the rest it needs to repair and regulate itself overnight. So, what should you do instead? If your doctor suggests elevating your head, it usually means raising it just slightly, around 30 degrees, with a supportive pillow, not a full upright position. Small change, big impact. Better sleep isn't just about comfort, it's about protecting your heart and your life. Here's a habit that many of us are guilty of, often without thinking twice. Falling asleep with the lights on, or worse, the TV still blaring in the background. It may feel comforting. Maybe it drowns out your thoughts or helps you relax. But sleeping in a lit room, especially with blue light from screens, can deeply disrupt your body's natural rhythm. You see, our brains are wired to sleep in darkness. When there's light, especially artificial light, your brain produces less melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time to sleep. And here's why that matters. Low melatonin levels don't just mean trouble falling asleep. They're linked to a long list of serious health risks: higher blood pressure, elevated blood sugar, increased inflammation, and yes, a greater risk of stroke and heart disease. So even if it feels cozy to nod off while your favorite show plays in the background, you're robbing your body of the deep, restorative rest it needs. Instead, create a dark, quiet environment. And if you absolutely need some background noise, try soft music or white noise, without the glow. Because sometimes turning off the lights can help you turn on your health.
Now let's talk about something many of us rely on to power through the afternoon, that second or maybe third cup of coffee. Sounds familiar? But here's the deal. Drinking caffeine after 3 p.m. might be silently sabotaging your sleep. You might say, I can still fall asleep just fine after coffee. And maybe that's true, but falling asleep isn't the same as sleeping well. Caffeine works by blocking a chemical in your brain called adenosine, basically the thing that tells your body it's time to rest. Even if you doze off, your brain may struggle to enter deep, restorative sleep. That means you wake up feeling groggy, tired, and, ironically, reaching for more caffeine the next day. And it's not just coffee. Green tea, black tea, yerba mate, even some sodas and chocolate can have the same effect. The science is clear. Caffeine has a half-life of several hours. That means a cup at 3 p.m. might still be buzzing in your system at bedtime. If you care about your heart, your brain, and your long-term energy, not just your next boost, cut off the caffeine after 3. Trust me, your sleep will thank you.
Have you ever tried going to bed after an argument or while your mind's racing with stress from the day? It's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous to your health. When we go to sleep feeling angry, anxious, or overwhelmed, our bodies don't just power down. Instead, stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline stay elevated. These chemicals are meant to keep us alert in emergencies, but when they're present at bedtime, they hijack your ability to rest. Your heart rate stays high, your blood sugar can spike, especially if you're diabetic, and your sleep becomes fragmented and shallow, robbing you of the recovery your body desperately needs. Over time, this pattern increases your risk of high blood pressure, poor blood sugar control, and, you guessed it, heart attack and stroke. So what can you do? Make it a nightly habit to decompress. Read a few pages of a calming book. Take a warm shower. Listen to gentle music or practice deep breathing. Even a few minutes can make a big difference, because going to bed with peace in your heart isn't just good for your soul. It could save your life.
Staying hydrated is important, no doubt about it. But here's something many people don't realize. Drinking too much water right before bed might be ruining your sleep and quietly putting your health at risk. Think about it. When you drink a large amount of water or other fluids at night, what happens? You wake up once, twice, sometimes 3 or 4 times to go to the bathroom. And every time you wake, your sleep cycle gets disrupted. This kind of broken sleep doesn't just leave you tired the next day. For older adults, frequent nighttime trips to the bathroom, called nocturia, can increase your risk of falls, fractures, and even cognitive decline over time. The danger is even greater for people on certain medications or with balance issues. One wrong step in the dark, and it could mean a trip to the hospital. So how can you stay hydrated without sabotaging your rest? Try this simple tip. Stop drinking large amounts of fluid about 2 hours before bedtime. If your mouth feels dry, try gargling with water and spitting it out. Strange as it sounds, it works. Protect your sleep, protect your safety. Sometimes less is truly more.
Here's something that might surprise you. Not having a consistent bedtime can be just as harmful as getting too little sleep. Your body runs on a natural rhythm, what scientists call the circadian clock. This internal clock tells your body when to release melatonin, when to raise or lower cortisol, and even when to repair your cells. But when you go to bed at random hours, say 9 p.m. one night, midnight the next, it throws that entire system into chaos. You may feel like you're getting enough hours of sleep, but without regularity, your body can't do its job. The result? Hormonal imbalances, higher blood pressure, poor blood sugar control, and over time, an increased risk of stroke, heart disease, and metabolic disorders like diabetes or obesity. Research shows that people without consistent sleep routines are more likely to develop serious health issues even if they sleep for a full 8 hours. So what's the fix? Set a bedtime and stick to it, even on weekends. Your body loves predictability, and giving it that rhythm is one of the simplest, most powerful ways to protect your long-term health, because consistency isn't boring. It's life-saving. Here's a habit that seems small but could have serious consequences. Forgetting to take your nighttime medications. You're not alone. Many people skip their evening pills by accident. Maybe you're too tired. Maybe you just forgot. But here's why it matters. Certain medications are designed to work best while you sleep. For example, cholesterol medications like statins are often prescribed at night because your liver produces the most cholesterol during sleep. Metformin, a common diabetes drug, is also more effective at night. It helps regulate the liver's natural glucose output while you rest. And did you know that for some people, blood pressure only stays high at night? If you miss your medication, your heart is left unprotected during the hours it's most vulnerable. Some people worry about side effects like low blood sugar. But when taken properly, medications like metformin are very safe.
and don't typically cause nighttime lows. So if your doctor prescribed something for the evening, don't skip it. Set a reminder. Leave your medicine somewhere visible. Because missing one little pill may not seem like much, but over time it could be the difference between protection and preventable danger.
Here's a habit that seems small but could have serious consequences. Forgetting to take your nighttime medications. You're not alone. Many people skip their evening pills by accident. Maybe you're too tired. Maybe you just forgot. But here's why it matters. Certain medications are designed to work best while you sleep. For example, cholesterol medications like statins are often prescribed at night because your liver produces the most cholesterol during sleep. Metformin, a common diabetes drug, is also more effective at night. It helps regulate the liver's natural glucose output while you rest. And did you know that for some people, blood pressure only stays high at night? If you miss your medication, your heart is left unprotected during the hours it's most vulnerable. Some people worry about side effects like low blood sugar. But when taken properly, medications like metformin are very safe and don't typically cause nighttime lows. So if your doctor prescribed something for the evening, don't skip it. Set a reminder. Leave your medicine somewhere visible. Because missing one little pill may not seem like much, but over time it could be the difference between protection and preventable danger. Let me ask you something. How often do you eat dinner and then head straight to bed? It may seem harmless, even comforting, but it's one of the worst habits you can have before sleep, especially as we age. Late night eating, especially heavy meals loaded with fats, sugars, or spices, can quietly disrupt your body in several ways. First, it spikes your insulin and blood sugar at a time when your body is supposed to be resting. Second, it can trigger digestive issues like bloating or acid reflux, making it harder to fall and stay asleep. And third, it interferes with melatonin production, the hormone your brain releases to guide your sleep-wake cycle. For people over 60, this habit becomes even riskier. Studies show it can raise nighttime blood pressure, increase the risk of stroke, and contribute to dangerous visceral fat buildup around your organs. So, what's the fix? Keep your last meal light and simple, steamed vegetables, soup, maybe some grilled fish, and eat at least 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. Your sleep is sacred. Protect it like your health depends on it, because it does. Let's talk about a habit that feels soothing, but is secretly sabotaging your sleep. Having a drink to wind down before bed. Many people believe that a glass of wine or whiskey helps them relax and fall asleep faster. And yes, alcohol may make you feel drowsy at first. But here's the catch. It disrupts your REM sleep, the deepest and most restorative part of the sleep cycle. That means your body may fall asleep, but it doesn't rest. Worse yet, alcohol relaxes the muscles in your throat, increasing your risk of sleep apnea, especially if you already snore. It also stimulates your liver and nervous system, forcing your body to work overtime when it's supposed to be resting and healing. For older adults, alcohol can also lead to dehydration and dizziness, raising the risk of dangerous nighttime falls. You might wake up groggy, dry-mouthed, or confused, hardly the restful night you were hoping for. So, what's a better way to unwind? Try a warm bath, a calming book, or some soft music. And if you do enjoy a drink, finish it at least 4 hours before bedtime. Because real rest doesn't come from a bottle. It comes from balance. Before we wrap up, here's one final tip that often gets overlooked, but it can make or break your sleep quality. Room temperature. Have you ever woken up stiff or sweating in the middle of the night? That might not be your mattress or your pillow. It could simply be your thermostat. If your room is too cold, it can cause joint stiffness, especially for those of us dealing with arthritis. Cold air can even trigger bronchospasms, making it harder to breathe. On the flip side, sleeping in a room that's too hot forces your body to work overtime just to regulate its core temperature. And that effort? It comes at the cost of deep, restful sleep. The sweet spot? Most sleep experts recommend keeping your bedroom between 60 to 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 15 to 19 degrees C. Not too cold, not too hot, just enough to let your body relax fully. Now I want to hear from you.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how helpful was this video for you? And tell me, where are you watching from? And what temperature do you sleep in at night? Leave a comment below. Let's learn from each other and sleep better together.